Just waking up. It's like 1 p.m. Anyway, I am going to be cutting some of this Taos County Lepidolite for a gentleman who hired me to do so. This material comes from the village of Dixon, outside of the actual town of Taos, but Taos County is pretty big. It's super soft, doesn't have as much mica as some of the other lepidolites a lot of you lapidaries and rock people might have collected or cut in the past. Yeah, a lot more pink. It's hard to see in this light, but it can be really translucent. Sometimes the higher quality material has like fractures that just make it fall apart. Yeah, when you're cutting the lower quality stuff, which has a lot of barrel. Give me 1 second, I'll grab a piece. The lower quality stuff has a whole bunch of barrel in it, and it's a lot more stable even with the fractures. Actually, the Harding mine where this material is from was actually started being worked to get this barrel that they used for some kind of metal that wouldn't spark, and I believe also some kind of bombs or something. I don't really know, but whatever. We're gonna cut a couple of these pieces together. I'm not going to do the polishing. When it comes to the polishing, I will be using like some Fabuluster, which is an aluminum oxide. But I will be cabbing with you here live. I'll be using my beat up old Easy Cab. I love my Easy Cab. I love it because the watering system is just so simple. I just take this hose, stick it where I want it, and we're done. Anyway, I'm going to start with 80 grit, and then we'll move on to 220, you know, all the basic grits, 280 soft, 600, 1200, and a little bit of 3000. Very pretty stuff. I believe this is lithium that gives it this color. So it's going to be good for the mood. It's a little hard to tell here, but there's some apatite crystals. It comes out blue on my side. It might be really hard to see on your side, but anyway. Don't forget to like and all that other stuff. Leave me any kind of questions you might have. It's always my pleasure to help. Answer anything. Yeah, if I can find where the chat stuff goes. There we go. Howdy there, Caleb. Howdy there, Antonio. No diamonds. The only diamonds I have in here are on my wheels. But also, I want to thank you folks for subscribing. I have like 10,100 subscribers now, and it's super awesome. I'm going to catch up on a few giveaways, and then I'm going to be doing a big giveaway here soon. This is 80 grit. Oh yeah, also worth mentioning. All of these pieces are going to a Navajo artist in Arizona. These are not my pieces. I'm cutting for a different person. And he doesn't want any sharp edges. So if you're ever thinking, why isn't he, making this pointy or doing this in a better way? It's because they don't want any sharp edges and they want a bit of a girdle. Anyway, let's do it. Let me zoom in here a little bit more for you. Alright, let's take a quick look here. As you can see, it lost a little bit of that awesome jelly that was on the outside at the beginning. There's a little bit of barrel here, but there's some smoky quartz in here. The Taos County Lepidolite grows with a lot of smoky quartz. At times it makes it really miserable to cut this material, and sometimes it really serves the material. In this particular piece, it doesn't do either. It's just kind of there. But yeah, works super fast. I really like working this material. It's kind of a Taos staple. Every single Taos lapidary has worked probably tons of this material. I don't work it for myself anymore, but it is a pleasure when I get commissioned to do so, like we're working with now. So that's 80 grit. I'm going to hop on over to 220. When I'm not live and having to reach around a camera, I can probably do these in about, 20 or 30 minutes each. I am having to polish the backs, which I normally don't do for my material, but the person who's going to be setting these is going to be putting designs in the back of the pieces of jewelry that they're making, so I will be polishing the backs. All right, this is 220 grit. For the most part, Caleb, I am. There's no real rhyme or reason. The artist, Bradley, who's getting this material to make it into jewelry, wants freeforms. He doesn't want like calibrated shapes. And the only thing he says is to make sure that there's a little bit of a girdle for the silver bezel and that there's no pointy sides. He's an awesome artist from the Navajo Nation over there in Arizona. And yeah, mostly working for speed to pass the savings on to the person who hired me. But at the same time, I'm trying not to remove too much material because this stuff is so soft. It's definitely softer than like stabilized turquoise. So I'm actually spending more time working slowly to not remove a bunch of material. If I was flying, I could probably, make these cabs in like, 5 or 6 minutes if I didn't care about the shape or how much material I was wasting. But since it's not my material, I am taking a little bit of my time because it's just so soft, it's melting under the wheel. It does make fantastic jewelry, and it does stand up to regular wear and tear, but boy oh boy, yeah, it's just melting underneath my wheel. So that's what's taking most of my time. That was 220 grit. Let's dry it off and take a look at it together. So this is it dry, kind of pitty. You can see this right here. It's like a fracture. It's kind of been healed over, maybe with some beryl or something. I'm not too sure. This was the apatite crystal right there. It's very hard to see on camera, but it's blue to me. It kind of looks black through the camera. There's the smoky quartz, getting roughly a good dome. It's not perfect. It's not 100% even, but it'll be okay. And now we're working the back. Since this is so soft, I mostly have to just remove the saw marks with my hard wheels because the soft wheel will take out a lot of the scratches. Yep. All right, so I'm gonna even it up just a little bit more actually now that I look at it on this one side. It's a lot better. I'm gonna reestablish my dome. Hit the girdle one more time. And now we're gonna hop on over to 280 grit. In my opinion, after 280 grit, you are more than halfway done with your particular piece. 280 grit has the huge job of removing hard wheel scratches with its soft wheel and diamond impregnated face. So here we go. Even though it is a big job for the soft wheel, I do have to be careful because this material is so soft. Again, I want to thank all of you folks who are just now tuning in. If you subscribed, it's a big blessing and a pleasure. I really appreciate it. Just reached 10,000 subscribers. We're almost at 10,200 subscribers. And that's just so awesome. I really appreciate it. I'm waiting to get, like, now that I have 10,000, that YouTube Shorts tool and the stories. I'm more excited about the YouTube stories, which kind of works like, you know, Instagram stories. And the shorts kind of works like TikTok. I don't like to fill my channel full of like 40-second videos. I think that's like, you know, it works for some people and some people might like that, but my channel is mostly based around like lapidary tips and tricks and then like gem show stuff. So I don't know. It feels a little like, I don't know, I don't like it so much. But I wouldn't mind doing the shorts and the stories because they don't go into the normal video timeline. So I won't be filling up like my video catalog with these short videos. There is a channel called Quartz Cowboy, I think. They're awesome people. I'm in a creator group with them on Facebook. Absolutely, Caleb. And the Quartz Cowboy folks, they're stunning. Absolutely stunning. They're amazing creators, and they put a lot of like 40, 50, 60-second videos. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just recently reached 100,000 subscribers. I would not be surprised if they got that, you know, many subscribers by putting out all of that shorter form content. I agree. I like to do the 15 to 30 minute videos. All right, drying it off. Little tough to tell, but all of those 280 grit scratches are gone. It's whiter here because of just all the different stuff inside of it starting to get its color back, which is pretty cool. Yeah, definitely ready for 280. 600 grit. But the Quartz Cowboy people just recently got 100,000 subscribers. I would not be surprised if it's because they put out so much 40, 50-second videos. You know, a lot of their videos get like 400, 500 views after like a month or two, where a lot of smaller creators like me, most of my well planned out videos get 2,000, 3,000 views. But what's better, you know, every day 400 views, or like once a week 3,000 views, you know? What's better for the algorithm is what I'm saying. Anyway, sorry about the shaky camera. I will be getting multiple cameras and doing camera switching soon. But I just wanted to give this live a shot. Believe it or not, I've never been live. Been on YouTube for like 3 years. Never done it. Huh. Anyway, this is 600 grit. This is the face of the stone dry. Already starting to get a gloss. If this was turquoise, I could probably polish it with some Zam and it would already be super shiny. But this material really demands to go at least to 1200 grit before hopping over to polishing to really keep a lot of this awesome color. The Tucson show is right around the corner. I should be getting ready for that, but yeah, haven't really been getting ready. I don't even have all my camera equipment together. So for those of you that don't know, the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show was canceled for January and February, and then shortly after that they decided to reschedule it for April. And I was thinking not to count my chickens because, you know, what if the Pima County decided to cancel it in April too? You know, I would not be surprised at all. But they already started putting up buildings and such. And so they've, you know, those giant tents in artificial structures cost millions of dollars to put up. And they would probably get sued if they tried to reschedule it now. So it's definitely going to happen. It's not going to be the same as other gem shows in the past. For instance, Keno Electric Sports Complex, which usually has, you know, hundreds of vendors, is only going to have 50. But it's going to be 50 of the largest. So if you are planning on, you know, if you're on the cusp of, should I go to Tucson this year? Is it going to be worth it? Are there going to be enough vendors? Absolutely. There might only be 50 out of 200 vendors, but it's 50 of the biggest vendors at that particular venue, and there's going to be dozens of venues open. 22nd Street Show is going to be there. Jogs and Gem Mall is going to be there. Keno, Oracle, Tucson Showplace. I don't know about the hotels. I know my good friend Eric Ritamaki of the Uperlite fame will be there. We're going to be making some videos together. He is an awesome gentleman. So super kind. And very, very hardworking. So that should be about it for 600 grit. I'm chatting and I'm not really paying attention to my work. Some people may say, oh, it doesn't matter if you overcut. It's not going to make it less shiny. Well, it kind of does matter if you overcut, because then you're wasting your material. And if you're overcutting, then you are wasting your diamond, which costs a lot of money. I'm going to start using Diamond Pacific wheels, so it's like $500 for 4 of them. Yeah, it's crazy expensive. So not too much of a difference when it's wet. Let's dry this off really quick. This is dry. Starting to maintain a lot of that color without having to be wet. So some rubber gloves, Karen, do work really well. I use nitrile gloves. Nitrile gloves are what they call the black mechanics gloves. I got them right here. Yes. Black mechanics gloves. But unfortunately, where I live in the mountains, everybody is corona crazy. Like, they snitch on you on Facebook groups, take pictures of you when you don't wear a mask, when you walk around in the park. So it is extremely hard to buy those gloves. So I only use them on materials that are really dirty, such as like this tiger iron stuff that I'm cutting for another customer. It's filthy, and I'll wear gloves for that. For this lepidolite, not so much. Because the only place that sells those gloves that have them in stock, it's $26, I think, or $32 for a 50 pack. And it's just nuts. The town of Taos is just making a killing off of corona fear, and people are buying way more than they need, even to this day. Yeah, I could order them online, but I have enough for my dirty work. But I don't wear nylon or latex. For whatever reason, nitrile gloves hydroplane off of the wheels and don't get eaten up, where nylon and latex get eaten up very easily, even off of the soft wheels, let alone the hard wheels. And all gloves get torn up by silicon carbide. So I never wear gloves with silicon carbide. I will be making a video on wearing gloves while cutting and doing lapidary stuff. I've been wanting to make that video before I started wearing the gloves because I scare a lot of people. They think it's going to get sucked up into the wheel and I'm going to, get hurt or something. And it's not really the case on certain machines. Certain machines that have pulleys exposed and belt exposed, yeah, that definitely can happen. Drill presses, I've had my hair sucked up into a drill press one time when it was really long, and that was bad. But nitrile gloves on these style cabin machines, totally safe. Good question, Karen. But yeah, I'm gonna hop on over to 1200 grit. The farther you go down the line of grits, the higher the grit, like 1200, 2000, the less time it takes to cut, because you're not so much removing material anymore after 600 grit on certain pieces. You're just removing the scratches and replacing the scratches. If you've ever worked a stone and you're thinking, oh, I've been on 1200 grit or 3000 grit forever and I can't get that scratch out, it's because you're not gonna. You're gonna have to go back to 600, 280, or even maybe back to your hard wheels. And that's just the discipline all lapidaries really need to learn early on to save themselves a lot of grief. Anyway, like I was saying, I will be at the Tucson show. I will not be vending with my grandmother this year. We are so lucky to have been offered to even show this year because they only pick like 50 vendors. But we decided we're going to just take the break, and it'll be the first time in maybe 10 years that my grandma will actually be able to come with me shopping, and that'll be a real treat in my videos. A lot of you seen my Tucson videos, but this year I'm going to have a lot of footage with my grandma where she'll critique the material with me. She has a million stories on crystal medicine and just really cool stories of gemstones that she experienced throughout her lifetime. I've never been into crystal medicine and stuff, to each their own. I've just worked the stuff, but it'll be really cool to roll with my grandma this year. Thank you so much, Brian. Yeah, she's a real cool cat. She speaks Russian, So that's a big blessing. It's always good to know different languages. I speak Spanish, she speaks Russian, and so it'll be nice to have conversations with those that, you know, don't speak the best English. There are a lot of people that go to Tucson that don't speak any English, and they try to vend just by using a calculator. You know, they show you, oh, it costs this much. And if you can't speak English, they hand you the calculator. You tell them, no, I want it for this much. And there's that. But if you learn the language, you learn the culture. When you learn the culture, you learn the love. And that's one of my favorite things about the Tucson Gem Show, is that almost every culture that has material or that has an art scene is there. You know, I practice Portuguese, I practice Chinese, Japanese, Arabic. I practice as many languages as I can, and I'm not very good at most. But, yeah, you learn the language, you learn the culture, you learn the love. And I'm also a musician. I'm actually a professional musician. I make more money doing music when before the Rona than I did in art. And I love to learn different cultures' music, and that's a language all of its own. Anyway, that's 1200 grit. Sorry for rambling. Let's dry this off. All right, so about 1200 grit, it's maintaining a nice shine. This is dry. This is not wet. The back is wet, if you want a reference. That's wet, and this is dry. The corner is wet, but this is dry. This is practically good enough to go into jewelry, as is. No one will question it, saying, oh, I wish this was shinier or whatnot. It does get a little bit more color when it's wet, almost more of the reds. But we have one more grit, and then we have the final polish. For final polishing, I like to use aluminum oxide for this material, and I use it in a compound form. I use Fabuluster, and actually I got my jewelry polisher from my dentist, who gave me a really cool greasy aluminum oxide that's a little bit finer than Fabuluster, and I'm actually going to use that aluminum oxide for this. But when I don't have that greasy dental stuff, I use Fabuluster. For those of you who are wondering, I probably will not polish this on camera. All right. 3000 grit takes no time at all. Sorry for this shaky camera. It's my super cheap lamp that I have my phone connected to. Wait. All right. And that's it. Looks like it's been 30 minutes. That's probably a little bit more than twice as long as it should have taken. So, me, personally, since I am such a sucker, I have a problem where if someone is way too complimentary, fun fact, you're really good at cutting gems. It's super satisfying to watch. You were way too cool, Alexander. I really appreciate it. I could be a lot better. Almost everybody that I've ever trained in lapidary work is a million times better than me. So cutting for someone else versus cutting for yourself. I personally do $35 an hour on most of my customers. I'm not charging the customer who I'm cutting this for right now anything to do these pieces that I'm doing live, because that wouldn't be fair. Mike, you're way too cool. I really appreciate you being a fan. You're too nice. But off camera, when I am cutting and the clock is rolling, it's $35 an hour for most things. And it's about $3 to $5 a hole when I drill holes. I have a precision gem driller where I can drill holes. It's not a sonic drill, and they're very clean. And if they're not perfect, then I go back and I polish them and I charge $3 a hole. Thank you so much, Peace. I would love to do that. This is the first one I've ever tried. I'm using a really bad iPhone 7 Plus. Those things are just ancient. And Taos, New Mexico is rural New Mexico, and the internet is miserable. So I'll take a look at this. If the quality is good enough as is, then I will definitely do more lives, because it is a pleasure to answer any question and to just chat. And I love the company. I'm usually listening to Joe Rogan podcast or something, and they usually talk about scary stuff. And I don't think that stuff is really good for one's mind to digest 24/7, just this fear, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I do love good conspiracies. I'm a conspiracy lover myself, but thank you so much, Mike. I have an 8, and I want to buy maybe like the new SE or something, just something more modern. But I do know that when I take a picture with my 7, it stinks compared to my 8. So I think like 8s in iPhone 10s, the old 10s, are the cutoffs for this modern generation, at least with photos. But sorry, I'm getting mixed up. I do make a lot more money cutting for other people than cutting for myself, because when I cut for myself, I only cut what I like. I don't have a lot of stuff that I like laying around. I do almost turquoise exclusively when I cut for myself. I cut this piece for myself yesterday. I did this yesterday, and it's nice and all. But when I was done cutting this piece of turquoise, left the back nice and natural. The hole's a little too big for my tastes, maybe for someone else's taste. But when I got done cutting this, I put it down and I walked inside. Went inside and I ate some avocado and chips with my grandma. And I didn't come back out. But when I cut for someone else, I'm like, okay, it's business time. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to work like a normal human is supposed to. And I'll do, 4 or 5 hours a time. So for me personally, I try to charge $35 an hour, and I put in so much more time than when I don't have commissions to do, so it's a lot more profitable. I hope that was helpful. But yeah, that's that piece. It just needs to be final polished with aluminum oxide, and it'll be a lot more shiny. The gentleman sells these. I think he was selling the finished pieces for about $250. I don't know. It's not my business. I really, it's not my business. I just shine up rocks for a living. I'll do one more smaller piece, and I'll do it fast before I hop off of this live. Yeah, so again, I'm using my Easy Cab. It's beat, it's old, it's crusty, but I work better than I do on that than I do with my Cab King or my Diamond Pacifics or my old Highland Parks. My poor Cab King is just a table now. It just holds all my stuff. It's a coffee table and a glue table, and it holds my guitar picks, and I feel bad. I should get another apprentice in here using that thing, because it just feels wrong. It's not getting the love it deserves. All right, so we're going to do this piece. This one, I would say, isn't the same quality as the other. It does have a fracture right here. On the lower quality pieces of lepidolite, where is the low quality lepidolite? I'll show you. Okay. On the low quality pieces of lepidolite, there's so much barrel that even the fractured parts really stay together. The white is the barrel. But on these higher quality pieces of lepidolite, the Taos County stuff, even though they are kind of healed, they do tend to break while cabbing. So I'm going to be extra gentle on this side. Everything else looks pretty rock solid. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's get cutting. I do have a video up of the mine that this material comes from. I think I called it like the Pink Hills of New Mexico because the walls are just pink. It's a pink mountain. Go check out that video if you're interested in seeing it. They let us harvest 5 pounds. I did not get anything close to this quality when I was up there. The gentleman who harvested this material with the help of the people that run the mine got it maybe 20 years ago. Anyway, we're going to work with speed this time. I'm so sorry the camera is shaky. Kind of stinks. All right. The only thing that the jeweler asked of the person who gave me this material to cut is to not have any pointy sides. So I will round that off a bit. But right now I'm going to work on the dome. Believe it or not, Karen, the #1 best material for making guitar picks, and I would say, you know, in the gem world, is amber. Amber makes stunning guitar picks. The best guitar pick in the entire world is made out of tortoiseshell, sea turtle, which is super duper 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 illegal. The picks sell for about $120 a pick, and they make the best picks in the world. Bluegrass and country acoustic players love them. They sell out every time I've ever seen people sell them. Howdy there, Modern. Yep, it has something, and also it almost has a tortoise shell-like attribute to it. But amber is probably the best legal material. I have been asked by people that make stone picks to make videos of me using them and stuff, but I really don't like them, so I gladly turn them down because I don't want people to give me stuff that I'm not going to use. Definitely nephrite, but my problem is if most stones are harder than steel, I hit my strings really hard. When I'm at home, I practice, you know, I do my own thing, but when I'm live, I'm getting down and I hit the strings so hard. And if the stone is harder than the steel string, I'm going to be breaking strings left and right. And it definitely does happen. So I try to not use picks that are harder than steel. And, yeah. I have a very, very nice, high-quality piece of tortoiseshell given to me by a Dene Native American gentleman. Since he told me his family's had it for maybe 75 years, a box of it, but since I can't prove it, I never made a video of it. I really don't need any drama like that in my life. But maybe on a live where, you know, it's a lot less serious and a lot less, you know, robot algorithm watching, I might show you guys my tortoiseshell sometime. Every time I work something with my tortoiseshell, it is never for sale. So here in America, you can work tortoiseshell. It's not illegal to work it, but if you sell it, you have to prove that you got it from legitimate means. If I'm not mistaken, the cutoff for tortoiseshell was 1968, the same year, again, if I'm not mistaken, that Brazilian rosewood became illegal. Funny story about Brazilian rosewood. They say Chanel, from the perfume and the fashion, guru lady, made Brazilian rosewood illegal. She really helped lobby for it to become illegal, even though it wasn't particularly endangered, because it was the main ingredient on her fragrance Chanel. And she didn't want other people to use it. And and that's the story that I was told about Brazilian rosewood being illegal. Now it's definitely endangered. East Indian rosewood just became endangered. I know this because I am also a luthier. I helped my grandfather make guitars. And we have, a lifetime supply of East Indian rosewood. But how long until we need paperwork proving that we got it from legitimate means like Brazilian rosewood or tortoiseshell? If they ever do that, we don't have paperwork from it. We bought it from, Native Americans selling at flea markets and stuff. And so, anyway, sorry for rambling. Tortoiseshell, amber. My all-time favorite material. I used to think about that a lot more than I do nowadays. Unfortunately, I don't even have a collection anymore. When friends or family come over and they love something, I can't help but give it to them. I have friends and their kids come over, and it's a very impoverished area here, Taos, New Mexico. If they want something, I can't say no, and I give jewelry right off of my neck. And I have literally only 2 pieces in my collection. And I think my favorite material of all time has to be Mediterranean coral. I love the history of it. I like the orange, I like the red, I like the pink, I like it all. But, and then I would say that's probably tied with... I found a piece of turquoise at a molybdenum mine. They call it the Molly Mine, in a place called Cuesta, New Mexico. I went up there asking if we were allowed to walk around. They laughed at me like, heck no, you are not allowed up here. And I just started looking at the tailings outside of the mine, which was definitely from the mine. And I found a nice piece of turquoise inside of a host rock. And it was like a ribbon piece of turquoise. The host rock looked just like Royston. And that was my favorite piece for a long time until, unfortunately, it got stolen by someone that was working here at my studio. The poor lady was a straight-up kleptomaniac. I just finished 2 large serpentine pendants for a customer. I was only getting like $10 for them too, but since I could make them in like 3 minutes, she walked away with them. I left them on the table. It took me like 3 minutes to make them, and I was going to sell them for $10. I walked away to get my camera, and I came back and they were gone. And so was the apprentice working with me. I never brought it up. I didn't want to make her feel bad. She's talked about it in the past, and I know she has a problem. But it stinks because they just sold awesome Alamogordo. I needed to go up there for something. I can't remember why. Please do, Modern. It doesn't matter where you are if you're on this continent, Canada, South America, Central America, Alaska, or America, I'll go. I'm not afraid to travel. Unfortunately, believe it or not, I'm 30 years old. I never got a driver's license. I never lost a driver's license, but I never got a driver's license. I used to live in Philadelphia, where I didn't really need a driver's license. Used to stay in New York, didn't need a driver's license. And I just never got one. It's embarrassing to say, but I do plan on getting one soon. Good old Calico for Mining America wants me to get one to drive his bus around to make videos. I'm gonna see what I can do. He wants me to do it before Tucson, but it might just be too much too fast. But yeah, let me know, Modern. I would love to go. Ah, I understand. In that case, we don't need to make videos on it. We can just do it for fun. All right. Let's take a look at this material. First, we'll take a look at it wet. Again, another little piece of smoky quartz. This one looks really fun. Some like internal fractures or something in there, but it's super solid. A little bit harder than the last piece that I worked on. This little fracture right here looks like it's not going to break, but I probably would grind it out if I was going to make like a simple necklace out of it. But since it is going to be set in silver bezel, I don't need to worry about it. It's going to become invisible. This is the material dry. It's just as important, if not more important, to look at the material dry than you look at it wet. A good lapidary is stopping and looking at the material dry half the time that they're working it on the wheel. The moment you remove all of your scratches, you have your nice dome and your girdle, you move on to the next wheel. Time is money, and you save your wheels, you save your stone, and everything works out better. I am not, in my opinion, the best lapidary, so I almost always work the stone wet without looking until I feel it and I think it's done, and then I look to see if the scratches are gone. That is not a good way to go about it. So I am done with 280 pretty much. I'm going to reestablish this girdle. Since the silversmith really likes working with girdles, some folks don't mind it being sloped with no girdle, but this particular jeweler does like it. He's a very good friend of mine, Bradley Jean. I have a video that I was making interviewing him, and I completely lost the footage about 2 years ago. Anyway, this is 600 grit. Shouldn't take too long. We have a nice dome going on this piece. The back is being polished since it will have a step bezel style setting. For those of you folks just now tuning in, we are working Taos County Lepidolite, and I really want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing. I just got 10,000 subscribers last week. I'm at like 10,200 now. I'm sorry for the lack of videos, but I do appreciate your subscription. It means a lot to me. I'm so blessed. If any of you plan on being in Tucson, let me know. We can make some videos together. We can go get lunch. We can hang out with my grandma while she tells stories. You know, whatever. Oh, thank you so much. Bedrock Rhapsody. If you make rock videos, I'm going to have to subscribe to your channel. The name of your handle there seems like you do. If I am, I don't know about it, Modern, but I will definitely answer and be his guest. Unfortunately, it'll be hard for me to do Zoom. Oh, wow. Nice. Must be a fun job if you get time to check out your phone. I've unfortunately only had pretty bad jobs. I worked at a fast food joint here until this drunk dude came in and said he was going to kill me. In Taos, I only worked 2 jobs in Taos, a fast food place, and I used to work on the mountain doing slash and burn stuff where we pick up sticks and we make fires on the mountain. Not like forest fires, but. Well, thank you. Your love is a huge inspiration. I really appreciate you, Bedrock. In Florida, I had miserable jobs. I used to live in Florida during the recession, like 2008-ish, and I couldn't even find a McDonald's job. I worked at a hot dog place, check it out, no joke, for $20 a day. Even if I worked 12 hours a day, I made $20 a day. It was called Happy Pecker's Footlong Hot Dogs. It was so weird. So weird. They are going to be doing Tucson in April, about the first week. I think the first venues start around the 7th or 8th. I will be there hopefully no later than the 6th. All right, I think we're done on this 600 grit wheel. So here is 600 grit wet. Ragnar. That's a cool name. And here is the stone dry. For me, right now, it is very hard for us to find a place in Tucson. Here's the stone dry. How you doing, Ragnar? If you have this channel, like your handle suggests, I will definitely subscribe to it. Any of you folks who ever have channels, just let me know in the comment section. I'll go back and read them, and I'll subscribe to all of you, even if you're not rock people. We should all be supporting each other as creators. I'm live again. That's good. I don't know what happened there. Probably wants to bring home some lunch or something. She's probably hungry and grumpy. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. The technical issue is that my grandmother is calling me. She never calls me after, if I hang up, like if I don't answer the phone, she only calls me for two things. And it's either food or she found like an accordion or a violin or something at a thrift store and she wants me to either help the thrift store appraise it or, you know, wondering if I want it. So that's what the technical issue is. Grandma was calling. She might keep calling, so I might wrap this up right now. But I want to answer that question. It is hard to find a place in Tucson. A lot of the hotels book out super quick, and even the grimiest, sketchy Tucson hotel, you can expect to pay close to $100 during the show. It is ridiculous price gouging. But Airbnbs, you know, they cost just as much money as those sketchy hotels, so might as well book that. Even though it is a super small year compared to most years, it is to the point where all the Airbnbs, all the affordable ones, close to venues are pretty much booked out. I'm looking at a few for about $45 a night before taxes and fees and stuff. But here's a trick, and don't tell my grandma I told you, because she will kill me. We stay at a Planet Fitness. There's a Planet Fitness over there next to Aho Way. And they let you park there. They let you camp there. They let you go in at all hours of the night, use their internet, use their facilities. You know, you can take a shower, you can use the bathroom, you can go get a massage and all that stuff. And they let first-time people do it, I think, for free for a month, or it might be as low as $7 a month. If you are a senior like my grandmother is, they let you bring one extra person a month. And we stay at the Planet Fitness. Yeah, I wanted to make a video on that a long time ago, but my grandma said she'd break my legs because in the past we've had a lot of people just show up there, and if they bring their instruments, I'm up all night jamming and, you know, whatever, and I gotta wake up at 7 to help my grandma set up. And so she hates, when the Planet Fitness gets packed. So if you're low budget like me and my grandma, Planet Fitness is definitely the way to do it. I'm sure there's other gyms around there too that you can do something similar at. But then I would say Airbnb is the second best offer, and hotel is probably the worst bet. But they are literally booked for the time of the Tucson show 1 month ahead of time. No, excuse me, 6 months ahead of time. No joke. Like, people I know get their hotel in like August for January. Like, no joke. Dead serious. So that is the hardest part of Tucson for us. We stopped trying the hotel thing. We had some friends in the past that offered us places to stay that then got into the Airbnb scene, and we lost our free places to stay. Howdy there, Shane. So, yeah, sorry, that was long, but I'm going to finish this up before Grandma calls again. I want to know why she was calling. It's either for food or she found something cool at a thrift store. Either way, I like both of those things a lot. This is 1200 grit. Already, she's got a nice gloss, not too bad. You could probably set this in some jewelry as is. Before or after polishing it would be fine, but we're gonna take it all the way. All the way. The Balloon Fiesta. I've never been. My grandma used to vend at the Balloon Festival in Albuquerque. And thank you so much, Modern. Unfortunately, none of it is mine. It's all for a customer. He's pretty lucky. I'm not charging him a dime to cut while live, because that wouldn't be fair. I work 5-6 times faster when I'm not chatting. But he's a good friend of mine. And he helps out my good friend Bradley Jean out there on the reservation. If you folks don't know, the reservation can be much like a third world country. It is hard to find quality food, quality tools. Yeah, it can be really hard out there. And my friend, who I'm cutting for, really helps some of the artists out there, bringing them tools, bringing them supplies, mailing them material just for the sake of it, because it's hard for them to get. All right, that's 1200 grit. Didn't take too long. Lepidolite is a lithium crystal, I believe. I don't know. We definitely should. I'll tell you something. If the lights go out, even though a lot of them are suffering, a lot of them have their stuff together a lot more than we would if the lights go out and we can't go to Wendy's or to Publix or to Kroger to buy our groceries, you know? Let me get this in better lighting. So this is 1200 grit, dry. Looks a lot better than 600 grit. Yeah, that's wet on the bottom there, but half of that is dry. Pretty glossy. I could buff it up, but we're gonna take it to 3000 grit real quick. Shouldn't take more than a minute. In all honesty, if you're doing your stones right, removing all of the scratches, getting a good dome where the wheels don't have to fight it, it should only take as long as it takes for the stone to hit the face of the wheel. Well, I think I'm running out of water. This material is so soft that, unlike agates and jaspers, if I work it dry, it will burn up underneath the surface. Oy. I'm never too worried about contamination, but the bottom of my machine has to have like every single grit of stone imaginable, so I have to make sure to wash the stone off if I drop the stone, especially a soft one like this. I don't think contamination is too big of a deal on most materials, but soft materials like, high-end turquoise opals and then just, soft stuff, gotta watch out for it. Thank you so much. You're so super kind. I'll definitely make sure to do this more often. I would say this can't be higher than a 4.5, honestly. I am so bad with my hardness scale. I need to buy a set of picks. They're dirt cheap. You can get them anywhere online. Because if I had those, I would grab a raw piece and just scratch a piece for you, my friend. But I don't. I would say 4. You can't drill this material with steel. Typical steel bits like tungsten carbide and stuff. but it's super soft to the diamond. You know, it's actually my favorite color too. I love pink. I am a brunette, and I think I look good in some pinks. I love pink guitars. I play a lot of country music for a living, and a lot of good old boys give me guff over my pink guitars, but I love them. I'm so sorry, my friend. I just missed your last message. It brings up the messages, then they fade away. No, I don't, Ragnar. I don't. I don't like pink that much. But, yeah, that's done. This is 3000 grit. Oh, yeah, definitely. My friend goes and finds some cool stuff out there. I've never been. The back is looking nice and shiny, and I can only imagine how awesome it will be after I give it a final polish with some aluminum oxide. This was a piece that we've been watching since the beginning. I'm not worried about that because the gentleman who is going to be working this material in silver uses a big bezel, which is why we have a bit of a girdle there. Smoky quartz is nice. Some of that's going to be taken up by the girdle, but it is very colorful. I wish I had a flashlight to show you guys through to the other side. Little tiny speck of what looks like beryl or quartz, or it could be where like I dropped it. I didn't really drop it. I dropped it in the tray, but the bezel will take care of that. It's not a big deal. Anyway, I really want to thank all of you folks for joining me on my first like real live. I'll make sure to do more of these, maybe even one a day. I don't want to fill up my video catalog with things that aren't like actual videos. So I might leave them up for like a week, or and then like take them, like I might do them and leave them up until I make like a real video, and then take them down or save them and put them on social media for people to find. Thank you so much, Martin. I do have a 1400 grit wheel. I have a 50,000 grit wheel, 100, 250. This is 14,000. But it's just, you know, enough is enough. It starts to undercut when you start polishing with these wheels. And nice talking to you too, Peace. And just like, I don't know, 3,000 is enough before the final polish. The final polish takes it somewhere close to 75,000. Thank you so much, BFK. I really appreciate you. My next video is going to be on this Richardson high-speed grinder, which is the best way to polish. Well, it was made to polish thunder eggs. Yeah, it's the best way to polish agate nodules. You might have seen a lot of people using this stuff. Nice, Shane. That's awesome. Good luck. You can always come down to Taos County and they let you harvest it for free. Yeah, it's a really cool machine. It's extremely dangerous since it spins at 3,500 RPM and you don't use water. You never wear gloves. You never put your hair in front of it. It will snatch you bald. Oh, really? You really want to see the finishing? Okay. Sugilite, believe it or not, Sugilite is probably easier to get in New Mexico than in other states because we have such a large Native American jewelry scene here. You know, we have Gallup, New Mexico, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, that the Native Americans love to work Sugilite. It looks fantastic with turquoise. So even though you can't find it here, you know, there are people who sell a lot of it here. I think Rio Grande has some, maybe Thunderbird Jewelry Supply. Yeah, it's pretty funny that New Mexico has some extremely hard to source materials, but it makes sense because of our art scene. So whatever, yeah, I'll just go ahead and polish this for you folks on camera. I gotta get this set up. Why not? Since the gentleman or lady asked so nicely. But I do have to wear a mask because this stuff is poisonous, and I wear a mask, and I wear a set of eye protection because the stuff flies in your eyeballs. Okay. Mask on. Got the mask. Let's go over here. Excuse the mess. All right. This is a Red Wing dental lathe given to me by my dentist. Yeah, you can find these online. They spin at 3250 RPM. They come with all kinds of attachments. It is a awesome jewelry polisher. This is Zam. I use this for like turquoise. And this is aluminum oxide inside some kind of greasy matrix. Oh yeah, I'm way too busy. And my grandmother makes drums. She makes Native American style hand drums. And so when I'm not doing rock stuff or music, I'm busting my hump making drums with my grandma. And yeah, she makes a killing. But it's a lot of work. Hey, California, San Jose. How you doing there, my friends? Okay, mask is on. Send me a message on Facebook, Freeman. Lapidary Dave on Instagram or Facebook, and I can answer those questions better. This on here. Not too much. This is my least favorite part. It can go flying and shattering into a million pieces. I need to build some kind of tray or something. All right, that's it. Super shiny. Let's see. Can you tell a difference? I can. It's a little hard to tell. My phone is not the best. You know, Bedrock, my friend's house is sinking. No joke. My friend Kayla's house is totally sinking. A lot of New Mexico is swampland. People don't know that. Hey, Lynn. I missed your phone call. I'm live.
What?
I'm live. I'm on video. Live. What were you calling for?
I have some stuff on the card for you to look at to see if you want.
Okay. I was telling people it's either food or instruments. And if you call more than once, it's always important. All right. No, I'm done. And it's live. I'm just going to wrap it up. So, Grandma's here. She's got stuff for me to look at. Definitely. Earthquakes are scary. I've only been through two. One when I was a kid in LA and one in Imperial Valley, California, and it was terrifying. Sorry we were doing a lot of rambling and chatting, but it was a lot of fun. I will figure out some camera switching, some better angles. I'll let Grandma know you both said hi. Yeah, these are nice. The dude's gonna love these. And they're special to me. It's local. I grew up, my little lapidary Dave, cutting, thousands and thousands of this stuff, of these pieces. Will do. I promise I'll do more lives. I'll let her know that everybody said hi. I'll mention you guys by name. But, yeah, I don't cut a lot of it anymore. And so it's a real big pleasure that this gentleman brought over this material for me to work, and in such good qualities. Like I said before, they usually don't come in this quality anymore. It's kind of picked out. A lot of people went and poached the mine, the Harding mine. That is awesome. My cousin had her rock collection thrown away when she was a little girl. Her family threw it away because they said it was weird. They're weird. Awesome. Thank you so much. Peace. I'll let her know you said hi. But yeah, everything looks good. It's been a blast. I'm going to go back and read all of your messages. I'm sorry I missed so many. It gives me the message and it slowly fades away. Oh, absolutely. Like I was saying, people poached this quality of the material. It's just gone. There's no more of it left on the surface. You have to go into the mine and they barred up the mine. So it's a real big pleasure and a blessing to work this high quality stuff. And my poor cousin had her stuff stolen from her. As a little kid, it's her rock collection. It doesn't matter how weird it is. Kids are weird. The kids should be weird. Anyway, I love you folks. I'll see you soon.